Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I have got the DNT Optics Zulus HD V2. DNT Optics reached out to me and asked if I wanted to review their scope they call the One. It's a heavyweight precision rifle scope, looks really nice, but I don't currently have a good use for that. So I asked them, hey, would you be willing to send out one of your night vision optics instead? They have the line of Zulus, or I don't know how that's supposed to be pronounced, but they have their line of IR, day and night optics, and they also have some thermal optics. What I specifically requested was the 3 to 12 power version of the Zulus HD V2 because I wanted to check out the onboard laser range finding options and see how far the technology has come since when I was using day-night digital optics before. In another video, I'll do a comparison to the other IR day and night optic that I have. But in this video, I am just going to focus on the Zulus V2. Before we get too far into the video, I do want to let you guys know that DNT Optics did send this to me for review. I don't get to keep it. I'm sending it back after my testing here. But I do want to thank them for sending it out for testing. Let's take a quick look at specs and then I will open the box and we'll see what's inside. So first, right off the bat, what we want to talk about is the price. Let's jump onto the website and see. So this particular version, the Zulus HD V2 3 to 12, is currently $777 on their website. It says the retail is $999. The price that I normally see it going for on their website is around that $780 mark. If you're looking for some of these technologies, but you don't need the latest and greatest, let's look at the V1 Zulus HD. Yeah, here we go. The 3 to 12 version of the original Zulus HD is $394, and it looks like the 5 to 20 is the same. They also have versions with the rangefinder built in, and those, it looks like, are $615. This also does have a ballistic calculator built in. It's a BC-based calculator. And we may look at how to program that later, but all of the Zulus optics come with an IR illuminator built onto the side. And that's pretty cool. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. Looks like you can also buy other IR modules, batteries, and an IR illuminator delete plug on the website as well. So there is that. Let's take a quick look at the specifications here. I won't try to memorize them for you, so I'll just read them off the screen. We've got a resolution of 1920 by 1080. That is the sensor and the screen, I believe. Video record resolution, it's 1800 by 1080 with a sensor and screen frame rate of 60 frames per second. Magnification is 3 to 12x. That is all digital, at least the 12x is. I believe the 3x that starts out is optical. 2.7-inch eye relief, which with a little design tweak could be near infinite. We'll talk about that more later. They claim a 10-hour operating time with the 21700 batteries that are included. And you can run this off of a USB power supply. I've tried that. It does work. Of course, you've got to have the battery in the unit. But, well, actually, I don't know if you do. I haven't tried it without the battery. But, yeah, you can run it off of a power supply. So if you were to run out of battery, you can do that as a backup. They claim the built-in memory is 32 gigs. My computer shows it at 28. And the weight is 18.4 ounces. I think that's without the mount. We'll put everything on the scale later just to check it out, but that's what they're saying. And they're saying with all the caps in place, it is IP67 waterproof. So there's the specs. Let's jump up close here and take a look at what you get. Okay, so in the box, you get the optic box, and then outside of that was a USB cord. This is a power cord for the charger. and the charger holds 2 batteries, and it came with the 2 batteries. These are 21,700 5 amp hour batteries, and like I said, it comes with 2 of them. Inside the optics box, you get a quick start guide, the full user manual, the mount, and the optic itself. Now, those of you who have seen other day and night digital optics will notice right away this thing is small and compact. We have got the laser rangefinder module right here. You've got the battery compartment with the IR illuminator out front. It's got a flip-up cap on the front. Got the focus ring right here. Magnification ring back here with a throw lever. Soft eye cup, controls on the top, and then under this cap right here, which is sealed with an O-ring, is the USB port, and this is USB-C. Okay, I said I wasn't going to do it in this video, but I do want to just make a quick size comparison to the ATN X-Sight 4K Pro that I have been using up to this point. Here is the Zulus. Here is the ATN X-Sight. You can see just how much bigger this is. This is huge in comparison. And there's a weight difference as well. Again, that's something we'll cover in a comparison video later on. We're going to go over all of the features more actually out on the range, because it's going to be really boring for you guys to stare at the wall through this while I show you the menus and such. So I'm going to get this mounted up on a rifle, and we'll get out to the range and actually look through it. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, in the box they do include a second cable, and this one is for connecting the optic to your computer. This one does do data transfer as well as power. And the other cable that came with the charger did not. So I did test that, and this cable works just fine for data transfer. The optic itself does not have an SD card slot. The storage is built in, and if I remember right looking at it, it was 28 gigs of storage that my computer showed that this had on board. All right, folks, we are out here on the range checking out this Zulus scope. Well, here, let me go ahead and start the recording. I do have the focus set for down there. Let me go ahead and roll the focus wheel and see if you can see the difference. And that focus is pretty easy to reach up here. It would be nice if it had kind of something to grab onto. I think it's kind of hard to get to grab onto because your thumb can't really get under, so you just got to turn it by the top and the side. Thankfully, it spins pretty easily, so that's not too difficult. Let me get that dialed in here. It takes a second to find, but that's okay. Let's see how the rangefinder works. That target should just be just over 100 yards. We'll click on it. Okay, so it's got a spot. That red dot there is the spot where it says the rangefinder's hitting, so we'll put it right on there. Yeah, it says 104 yards. That's pretty accurate. Let's see, how about it out there? 150 to that grass line. Yeah, that's pretty close. 104 to the target, which is dead on. That's in continuous scanning mode, and you can change that. I'll go ahead and turn it off. I am going to come out here and show you all this at night as well. And I'm hoping that the menu options show up on the recording. So I'm going to go through all this and go through the menu options. If they don't show up on the recording, I'll delete this whole next section and find another way to tell you about it. But let's go into the menu here. So menu is a long press of the front button, and it is labeled with a little gear. So you've got Wi-Fi connections there. Yeah, that quit the recording. So it won't record the settings menu, which is unfortunate. All right, folks, I'm just going to jump in here and tell you, zeroing the Zulus took kind of a long time. I'm going to leave that in the video for anybody who wants to see that whole process. Unfortunately, I can't show you any of the menu options through the scope. I can't record the actual zeroing of the optic, so I just kind of talk you through the process and show you what I'm doing from the outside of the scope and on the target. It was a little bit longer process than I expected, but again, I'm going to leave that all in here in the video in the interest of transparency. If you guys want to jump ahead to where I shoot the last group to confirm the zero, and then wrap up with my conclusions at the end, I'm going to put that timestamp right here. Just scroll forward to this timestamp, and you should see that. That'll let you see shooting through the Zulus at 100 yards, and then my conclusions, or at least what I think of the optic so far. I'm going to try screen recording from my phone, and we'll see if we can get the menu up that way. Okay, we should be screen recording now from my phone. Okay, we're showing a red reticle on the screen, but I actually have a green reticle in the optic. Okay, the zoom works though. Ha! Did you see that rabbit just run across? Okay, the zoom works. The reticle color did not change. We're gonna see if, oh, wrong thing. I accidentally put it in night mode. And that seemed to kick off the connection with the screen. That was weird. Okay, let's go into the settings menu, and the settings do not come across on the phone recording. I apologize. Okay, we're gonna try. Okay, we're gonna try to change this to a black reticle. No, it just leaves it red on the screen, which is weird. I'm interested to see what it records in. Oh, and it looks like you can also shift through reticle colors with just a single tap of the settings button. Interesting. Well, that could be handy if it's hard to see your reticle and you need to switch colors. You know what? Let's go with a white reticle for shooting. We'll leave the phone screen recording. All right, let's see if we can get this thing zeroed. I'm going to go ahead and do my normal bore scope process to see if we're close. We're gonna be a little high. I can already tell. So let's see. Yeah, that's way low. So I'm looking through the bore at the target, and you can see it's pretty low on the reticle, so we're gonna be shooting really high. Let me go in. Of course, it's going to kick the recording off here. Let me go into the settings and see about zeroing. Oh, there's different profiles. That's cool. So maybe you can set a different zero for different rifles? I don't know. Unfortunately, I can't show you these menus, which kind of stinks. I think I'm going to leave X alone and just change Y. So what this scope does that the other scope I had does not is it lets you freeze the screen so that it doesn't matter if your rifle wiggles around. And this is probably showing on the recording you're seeing, but no matter how much I move the rifle, it's frozen. So I can now go in and I can adjust the reticle to where it should be. I don't know how much adjustment we're gonna have. Okay, I'm gonna check the bore sight again. Okay, we're pretty close. Let's do this for real. This is the benefit of digital scopes, is that zeroing process can be pretty easy. The ammo I'm using today is just a cheap AAC 123 grain full metal jacket. Oh, I am gonna get some hearing protection on here. The rifle doesn't really matter for the purposes of this test, but I'll tell you anyway. It's a Howa 1500 mini action, chambered in 6.5 Grendel, and I've got a suppressor on the end there. That is a Silencer Co. Sive TI. Okay, so what is nice is the level indicator on the bottom there turns red if you get past, what is it? 1 degree, go to 1.5 degrees. Yeah, that's kind of nice. And then you've got an up and down angle on the side. But let's put another shot down there and see if we can see it. Oops, forgot to put my ear pro on. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me roll the focus just in case I'm a hair off. Now, you know, I can see the target, I can see the aiming spot just fine. So I don't think it's, you know, it's not going to be a problem for hunting with it. But this being all digital zoom makes it difficult. If they'd put some optical zoom and even put it up here, man, that'd be nice. This thing has a 1920 by 1080 sensor in it. The old version of the ATNX sight that I have has a 4K sensor in it. You get 1080 video out of it, but it's got a 4K sensor. This sensor, yeah, we'll do a comparison video on them later, but with this sensor and the 12x optical zoom, or I think what we have is 3x optical and then a 4x digital on top of that, or up to 4x digital for 12 total. If I'm saying that right, I might not be. But I think that combination is not going to let us see super fine detail. I'm going to walk down there and see if I can see where my bullet hole is. Spotting scope has come out. Okay, I think because it's in the white, I actually, now knowing where my bullet hole is, I can see it on the target there. What I'm gonna do is go into my settings here and let's get the gun nice and level on the center and freeze it. Okay, now I can dial over. Oh, now I can't see the bullet hole. Let me try that again. There, I can see it. Okay. And now I can zero this thing, which should be pretty easily. We'll take another shot and try it again. Turn back on the screen recording here. Try to get nice and steady. Okay, I can see that bullet hole on the target. And it looks like we're pretty darn close. Let me get my other more stable rear rest out and see if we need to make another adjustment. Oh, that level is going to keep me honest. Okay, I can't tell if there's a fly on the target or if my zero went way, way off. Yeah, just a fly on the target. I should have put a target camera down there too. I didn't think I was going to need one. All right, I can just barely see my other bullet hole. Okay, let me, of course my face is way up in the air there, so it's a little harder to get quite as consistent a cheek weld. Okay. Now we will make a scope adjustment based on the center of that group. Oh, we got a nice little clover leaf up there. Huh. I wonder if something moved after the zero. Because we did a one-shot zero thing, and the next shot was right near the X. And then the next 3 shots were in a tiny little clover leaf. Okay, I can't show you through this, so I'm gonna go down and get a picture of the target and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, I should get the target camera out here so you guys can see that, but this was the first shot. Then we did the one-shot zero thing and adjusted the reticle, and the next shot was there, and then the next 3 were all up here. So what I'm gonna do now is do another one-shot zero to that group and see if anything changes. Let's do the zero again. I won't try to get you guys to watch it because the scope's not going to record it anyway. We're zeroed again. So let's take another 3-shot group. So this has definitely not been a one-shot zero. which it shouldn't be anyway, right? You should always zero to the center of a group, not just on one shot. But I was hoping we'd at least be able to get that centered closely. Let's see if we hit near the center now. I think that shot went low. Sure did. All right, let's keep shooting the 3-shot group just to make sure. This, we may have to cheat the 0 because the scope adjustments don't seem to be true. Let's shoot a group just to make sure it's not a dispersion error. Okay, I think I can see through this scope that a group is forming. Yeah, nice tiny little group, about as far off in the opposite direction as the center, or as the last group. Let me show you again on camera, because this is frustrating. Okay, so this tells a story. First of all, this gun and load are shooting phenomenally well today. There's 2 3-shot groups that I could cover with my pinky nail. But I'm gonna go through this one more time. So we started here, made an adjustment, we're landing here. Okay, that's close enough. Then we shot 3 shots and they were up here. I didn't change anything between these 2. So not sure what happened there. What I did was went in and moved the reticle, changed it from here to right on top of here, and then we were the exact same amount, or pretty darn close to it, in the opposite direction off, which is a bit frustrating, because moving the reticle from here to here should have a zeroed, but we're off an equal amount in the opposite direction. So there's a pretty good error there. You know, that's an inch and a half off. What I'm gonna do is move the reticle from here to here and see if that finally gets us zeroed. Try to go half the adjustment we did before, but of course it's gonna be back in the other direction. So we'll see if that gets us zeroed. Okay, let's try that again. The target's getting a little bit crowded, but I think we can make this work. So again, I moved the reticle halfway in between the center of the target and where the group hit, instead of all the way to the group. Okay, that was a little bit odd, and there's getting to be enough shots on the target that I'm having trouble seeing what's going on. So I'm gonna paste up a fresh target and we'll keep trying to get this thing zeroed. All right, I've moved you guys to the other side here just because of how the light is. I haven't gotten my canopy set up out here quite yet. I'm gonna take another 3-shot group here and see where it goes, and then we'll try another adjustment based on that. But I think I'm just gonna have to make small incremental adjustments in the general direction that I wanna go and try that. Okay, we saw what kind of groups it was shooting before, and I can see where that bullet hole is, and you probably can too. Oh, here, forgot to start the video. There it is. You can probably see where the bullet hole is on that target. So I'll stop the video again and we'll do a quick adjustment. I'm going to make 2 clicks of adjustment, or 2 button presses, and try it again. I'm not moving it all the way to the bullet hole because that didn't really seem to work well before. Okay, let's turn the recording on this time. Make sure we're pretty close to level. Hey, that's a little closer. A little closer for sure. Let's shoot one more. All right, that looks pretty darn close. yeah, let's do 2 more shots. And we might make a slight adjustment. I think you can see where those bullet holes are on the target. It's a little hard to tell, but it is doable. It's possible that this 12 power, or really 3 power optic digitally zoomed in should probably be zeroed at 50 yards so that you can see those bullet holes better. But we're gonna make 100 yards work. That wasn't the best executed shot. That's gonna be a good enough zero for now. What I'm gonna do is turn the optic all the way off, let the chamber cooler run here for 10 minutes or so, and then we'll shoot another 3-shot group just to make sure the zero has held. I have no reason to believe it won't, but we're just gonna check. And then, I think after that, we're gonna wait till it gets dark and try this thing out some more. All right, folks, we're gonna shoot a 3-shot group right on top of that other. You can see I've got the canopy up now, which is quite nice. When I first came out here, it was 69 degrees and had just finished raining. Well, the sun is out now, so it's 90% humidity and about 85 degrees. Which was a rapid jump. We're gonna shoot another 3-shot group. And we'll turn the scope back on and make sure that it has held zero. I'll record here. I do have a white reticle up right now. I'm curious to see if that shows up on the recording or not. All right, that is a whole box of ammo. Good thing it's fairly cheap stuff. And we indeed have a confirmed zero. Great, I'll show you a picture of that. All right, my shooting wasn't perfect between all of those groups, but you can see that we have indeed held zero with most of those shots in like a 3/4 inch group there. So this is 8 shots here. I believe one of these was from before I made the adjustment, and then haven't made any since. One more did drop down here, not quite sure why, but oh, that's right. That's the shot that I thought I pulled a little bit. Anyway, the rest of them, they're in a 3/4 inch group. So we are indeed zeroed, and it looks like we are less than a click away, I'll say that, in any direction from a dead center zero on the center of that group. So I'm gonna call that good, and we're gonna leave it there for now. Okay guys, so my first impressions from having one day out on the range with the DNT Optics Zulus. Overall, I think this thing is a pretty good value. It's smaller and more compact than any other day-night optic that I have seen on the market, especially with all the features it packs in. You get an IR illuminator and a laser rangefinder built right into the unit. It comes with the mount. The mount is kind of high, but I think it's going to be perfect on an AR. It doesn't really seem like it was meant 100% for a bolt action. That's okay. That's not a fault of the optic. That's just how I have things set up. The rangefinder works great. The magnification lever is really easy to get to. The lever is a little bit difficult to get to. You can really only get to it with one finger from the top, or maybe from the side if you come around, but there's not really room to get your fingers around it to actually grab it. The good news is the focus ring moves pretty smoothly and easily, so I have no difficulty manipulating it with one finger, so that's not a problem. It comes with a flip-up cap right on it. That's really nice. You do want to make sure, oh, there's a dead mosquito in there. You do want to make sure that that cap doesn't get rotated in front of the IR illuminator, because it does kind of freely twist on there with a little bit of resistance. So if you're going to be using that IR illuminator, obviously you don't want the cap in front of it, but that's not really too much of a problem. The zeroing process. The adjustments for the zeroing process are not very precise. Because of that, it took me quite a long time and a whole box of ammo to get a zero and then confirm, and then shoot another group to confirm the zero. I don't think that that means there's anything broken inside or something that's going to be different on a different optic. I think it's kind of the nature of a system where you move an electronic reticle. It would be extremely difficult to get things dialed in so that the adjustments are perfect. Again, that did make it take a long time to get a good zero on, but now that I have the zero, it hasn't lost the zero. I've shot now some at night with this. I have shot a couple groups with it, and the zero is still right where I left it. The menus are intuitive, though you can't see them on the recording. That's not going to be a problem for most people, just for reviewers like me. It does not take an SD card, so the onboard storage is all you get. That's probably going to be plenty for 99% of people. And the other small downside that I have noticed is the resolution isn't that high. The zoom is all digital, so it would really be nice if the sensor was a little bit higher definition. It's a 1080p sensor in there. If they could have gone to a 4, 6, or 8K sensor, I think it would have made that digital zoom a whole lot nicer. But for what it is, the $775-ish price range that this package is, I don't think I can complain about that too much. For what it is and for what this optic costs, so far, after only having it for one range day, I think it's a really good value. All right, folks, that's where we're going to leave it for this video. I am going to be doing some night testing with this. I'm doing it separately because YouTube can be a little funny about night vision of any sort. So just in case that happens, just in case they flag something there, the night portion of this is going to be separate. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Give it a like, thumbs up, whatever that is on YouTube, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.